Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. What a special night we have in store for you. Thank you so much for coming.
Now I'm just a little bit nervous. I'm really nervous, really nervous. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Custodians of this land, and it is a privilege to be here at such a special time.
Settle.
And we acknowledge
Focus.
and pay our respects
Breathe.
to elders past and present.
Breathe.
So my name is Cheryl Dawn van Wageningen, but I was born Charmaine Dawn Hunter and adopted into being Cheryl Dawn Elburn. There's been many facets to my life, but music has been the continual thread. I've always liked music, always. I think it was around 9, we paid the rent every fortnight. And I would go across and while the landlady was writing out a receipt, I would look at the piano that was in her lounge and just think, wow, that looks really nice. I'd like to play that. She played sometimes for me, giving me a few sort of lessons, if you like. Mrs. Schrob, her name was, Dorothy Dot. She realised that she couldn't teach me as much as I needed or wanted to know about the piano. So she organised for me to have lessons, then I would practice on her piano. My mother was offered a housing trust house at Windsor Gardens. My mother said, well, you can't have any more lessons. Dorothy was absolutely horrified because by this stage I'd worked up to grade 4, nearly grade 5 in a few years. So she actually decided to buy me a piano. Of course, the dilemma was where to put the piano because, the housing trust units the living areas weren't very big. The yards were, but not the living areas. So it ended up inevitably in my room, and I thought it was just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It was a beautiful old piano, but it was in very, very good condition. And it was just, pride and joy. I'd just, go to bed looking at it at night time before I went to bed, and in the morning I'd get up and play it before school and shut the door, so if I wanted to just be in my own little world, I could be. The authorities, when I was about 3 months old, thought it best for me to go into an institution, the Kate Cox home, because my mother wasn't looking after me properly, according to them. And that's where a lady called Mrs. Elburn was volunteering. And she came home with me one day, and my brother at the time thought she was coming home with a kitten, but it was me. I first found out that I was Aboriginal. I always knew I was adopted when I was 35, nearly 36. I came home from work one day and there was a letter there, and it just really threw me, and I thought, wow. My husband at the time, wanted to know what it was about. And I said, I can't believe it. I said, this is saying that there's a sibling, that I have siblings, and that they're wanting to contact me, and it's obviously someone with Aboriginality in them. I kept it for a couple of days, sat on that letter, and then I thought, well, I'm going to ring and find out what this is all about. And that was my younger sister. We both had the same mother, but different father. And I went to meet her. We just hit it off and just had so many things in common. There was only 10 months difference between us. And then I found out that, I had a younger brother as well. So I went from, overnight being the youngest to being the oldest.
Yeah, it's euphoric, just here you are in your mid-30s finding out you have brothers and sisters, We had a dinner party at Cheryl's house and I got to meet some of her friends and we talked about our experiences. It was at that time I realised that Cheryl hadn't identified strongly with her Aboriginal background because of the family she grew up in. And she even said to me, that I don't, when I said to her, well, about her Aboriginality, she goes, there's nothing about me that feels Aboriginal. I went, but you are Aboriginal, you know, you're my sister.
When I think back, I always was always told, you know, your mother had you when she was 18 and you know, you're better off with us and all this sort of thing, which that was a very loving family. But I've since found out that she was actually more in her 20s, even her mid-20s. So it's a lot of conflicting things that as you get older you think, that doesn't gel, or it'd be nice to have been told the truth right from the start, or at least to have seen a photo of what she looked like. Because, gotta be careful here, because towards the end of her life, she actually lived 2-3 kilometres away from me, so, you know, we could have caught the same bus. Sorry. I think it's not so much the connection of not meeting my mother, always the connection of not knowing anything. Mandy and Michael talk about things in the Aboriginal community. You know, it's just common knowledge. They know uncle this and auntie that, and you know, all about welcome to country and language and a lot of things, which I really, you know, very proud that they have embraced that and found out that. But I know nothing. You know, I really, you know, when I think back, I think, wow, I know nothing about any of my heritage.
I knew that Cheryl was going to be on a massive journey from that point, and she just had to take it and let it unfold for her as it has. And, you know, and it can't be an easy process. It's like being stuck in the flow of a river. Like you're in the middle of that flow and it's moving the way it wants to move. You're in a hard time to get to the bank. She's in the middle of the river and she was about to go with the flow.
So dot music, the 3 components or elements or parts to it, the dot from Dorothy, the lady who first introduced me, dot as in dots on the manuscript, and dot for the Aboriginal heritage, being more closely related to, or people refer to it as, the dot paintings. So combining all those elements when I'm composing, I feel that connection more to my heritage, and that idea of composing music gets much more meaning when it becomes something that's relevant to your heritage and your upbringing. Which dress shall I wear tonight? That one. You like this one? What about this one? I like the red. No? What else have we got? What other dresses? The blue one? Yes. You like that one with the sparkly bits on the top? Do you think that would look good? Yeah. I think I'll take them all. One of the things that was a revelation was we were at a reconciliation breakfast and I found out about Ruby Hunter being one of our relations. I thought, wow, you know, she's a powerful singer-songwriter, or was. I never knew that I was related to someone like that. And it also inspired me to embrace my culture and try and find a way of expressing what I'm finding out and what I've related to through composing songs. Should we do 3, 4? Just thinking. As a proud Peramangk Ngarrindjeri woman from the region stretching from the Adelaide Hills down to the Coorong, I think I'm ready.
20 years later, realising she's starting to come to calmer waters is a good thing, you know. But it's not something that could happen instantly and overnight. And there's still barriers for people identifying if you're from the stolen generation. Like, there's members of the community that question your motives and why are you doing this now, you know? When is the right time? You know? I think the community needs to take responsibility of that and say, you are part of us. We do accept that there was 240 years of colonisation. We do accept that there was policies about removal of Aboriginal children. We do accept that you're going to come back from that process. It's always the right time.
Welcome. What a special night we have in store for you. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm still nervous.
But this one tonight is especially special. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Cheryl, and she's going to come out and wow you all tonight. So thank you very much, Cheryl. Take it away.
I composed this next piece, The Calling of the Coorong, really is a combination of how I feel when I'm down at the Coorong and the connection with nature and just reflecting lots of all the thoughts that go through your mind about, you know, what was it like back in the day and my ancestors, and what I hope you keep those images in mind as I play them for you. Thank you. I did it. It was fabulous. It was amazing. It was better than my wildest dreams. The audience was just beautiful, and just got all the vibes from them, and just played and just enjoyed every minute of it.